If you are paying venue fees out of your own pocket just so that your clients can have their photos taken at premium locations in your area, then you need to stop and watch this video before booking your next session.
Today, we're addressing a simple piece of photography pricing advice and why your clients should be the one paying those fees.
Yeah. But before we jump into that, we want to introduce ourselves.
I'm Hunter.
And I'm Sarah.
And we're Hunter and Sarah Photography, a professional husband and wife wedding photography team.
We are also educators, and our goal is to help photographers to build strong foundations in both their businesses and their personal lives so that they can run profitable and sustainable photography businesses.
Now, if you've never thought about this question before, here's what we mean. Let's say that there is a park or local farm or maybe this really cool building in your area, and your clients are so excited to have their family photos or maybe their engagement session captured there. So you call the venue and you're talking with them, hey, are we allowed to come and take photos? And they're like, yeah, hey, we'd love to have you schedule a session. It costs $50 or it costs $100 to reserve the space for an hour or for 2 hours or whatever.
Yeah. And we recently found out, to our horror,
Yes.
that some of our apprentices and students have been actually paying that venue fee out of their own pockets rather than passing that cost on to their clients. And many of these photographers were already, charging maybe like $100 or $200 for their sessions, and then they would spend half of that or even more on, like, out of their own fee in order to shoot at these premium locations. So at the end of the day, they were basically doing a session half off just because their client happened to ask for a feed venue for their photo shoot.
Now, if this sounds like you, then honestly, stop right now and don't book another session until you at least hear what we have to say. Because in all likelihood, there are plenty of locations in your area that are both beautiful and nice to shoot at and also free. And usually these are, public parks or maybe the grounds of a hospital or a university or some sort of other institution that's open to the public. And if shooting at these locations mean you are going to earn your full rate for portrait photography, but then there are these handful of other locations where you might, be out as much as $200 of your fee, then it's not really fair for your clients to choose those, we've been calling them the premium locations over the free ones without, having to make up the difference themselves.
Yeah, and hopefully you have set your prices intentionally and know that in order for your business to make sense, you need to make a certain amount of money each time you go out and shoot. But if you are just kind of randomly allowing some clients to pay your full session price and other clients to essentially pay you half because you paid the other half to a venue, then it's honestly a recipe for disaster in the long run, especially because those premium locations are often nicer and will often just attract more clients if they cost the same as the local park.
But honestly, this is probably going to make intuitive sense to your clients. Oftentimes the locations that have the fees are, the nicer ones. They maybe have, the incredible view, or they're more exclusive, like a wedding venue, or, maybe they just have the more well-manicured spaces. And honestly, that's why we call them the sort of premium spaces in this video. But they're kind of used to this, right? They know that if they want, backstage passes to the concert instead of just standing on the floor with everyone else, they have to pay a little extra. They know when they sign up for that streaming service, if they want the commercial-free version, they got to pay a little bit of extra, right? They're used to paying a little bit more for a more premium experience in other areas of their lives. So this is probably going to be somewhat intuitive to them. So there are a few rare exceptions to this rule, though, that we do want to talk about. But before we address them, we actually want to pause this video really quickly and make sure you know that if you have found any of this or other pricing advice that we've given in the past helpful, then you might be interested in a workshop that we're actually hosting later this month.
On November 29th, 2022, so this year, we are hosting a live workshop called Pricing for Wedding and Portrait Photographers: How to Know What to Charge to Get Booked. And tickets are for sale right now in the link in the description. And if you are watching this video after November 29th, 2022, then a replay of that workshop is also going to be available for purchase in that link in the description.
And as you have probably figured out, if you've been trying to run a photography business for even 5 minutes, charging the right price for your photography is literally essential if you want to run a profitable and sustainable photography business, which is that's what Sarah and I are about here with our education community. And so if you want to figure out what to charge for your wedding and portrait photography, you probably know that this can be stressful and a little bit overwhelming at times, because we get questions from our students all the time about, oh, how much should I charge for this or for that? Or, should I include travel? Or, what if someone wants to add extra hours or prints? Or, the dreaded, what if they ask for a discount question?
Yeah, so in this 2-hour workshop, we are hoping to break everything down so that you know exactly how much to charge for your products and services, no matter where you live or how much experience you have. And we are also going to answer those common pricing questions, just like this question about venue fees.
So speaking of venue fees, I mentioned a minute ago that there are a few exceptions to that sort of don't pay the venue fee rule. And so these are the situations where you might consider either maybe you split it with your client or even cover the entire thing.
One situation is if there is one location that is just really beautiful and totally different that you are just absolutely dying to work at, but you just can't seem to get your clients to pay that venue fee. In a situation like this, we have offered to split the venue fee with our clients in the past if they're willing to be the first people that we shoot at that location.
And the reason we're willing to do this sort of just that one time for that location is because we know that once we've done a session at that location and can start using the photos from that session to showcase that spot, more people are going to be willing to, make the investment to shoot there. And then, later on, everyone after them, we know will be willing to pay that full fee. But sometimes it's hard to get that first person who's, willing to pay $200 or whatever it is to shoot at that beautiful location. And so for that first client, we'll maybe make the barrier to entry a little bit lower. We'll split the fee with them. And then once they book it, then everyone after that, we go back to charging full price.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we did with an old abandoned mansion outside of Charlottesville called Swannanoa Palace. The fee to shoot there is $175 or something like that. But after splitting that fee 50-50 with our first engagement session there, we've now shot there a dozen times at this point.
Another situation where you might consider just sort of taking on that venue fee yourself is if there's a client who you are really trying to impress, or if you're really trying to give them just an over-the-top incredible experience for whatever reason. And probably the most common reason that we can think of that you may want to do this for a client is if you feel maybe they've booked you for their engagement session, that they don't have a wedding photographer yet, and they're considering you as their wedding photographer. In that case, the engagement session is almost a bit of a tryout or an interview for their wedding photography. And in that case, if you think that giving them that over-the-top great experience could lead to that wedding booking, it might be worth it.
Yeah, if you think swallowing that $50 venue fee might put the experience over the top and could lead to you booking that wedding for thousands of dollars, it might be worth it to just cover that venue fee and then pay for it yourself. If the venue fee is going to cost as much or more than what your engagement session fee is, maybe don't.
Yeah, the calculus is different if you charge $150 for the session and it's a $200 venue fee, right? It's a little different versus if you charge $500 for an engagement session and an extra $50, that you're just going to throw in on top.
Yeah, trust your gut on that one. But in a sense, you are basically giving them a discount on a premium engagement session location in the hopes that you also get to book their wedding day. But you should not be doing this for every single client who wants to shoot at a premium location.
There's a difference between the rare going over the top for a client and just the regular, I want to do a great job for every client, right? So that's not what we're saying is do this every time. Yeah. But if you're sitting here and you're thinking, well, okay, this sounds great, but aren't my clients going to be upset that they already paid for an engagement session and now they have to pay extra to go to these nicer locations? If you're thinking that, let us put your mind at ease.
You guys, we have been charging venue fees for our premium locations for years now, and literally none of our clients have complained about it. At this point, probably because when they ask us for location suggestions,
which most of our clients do,
yeah, we offer them a list with plenty of options, our top 10 photo shoot locations. 7 of them are, these premium locations that either have an associated venue fee or a travel fee just because it brings us 45 minutes or an hour or more away from our home.
But the list also has 3 locations that are totally free, but are also great from a photographic perspective and close to our house. So we feel like it really makes sense for us to do those locations for our actual session fee and nothing extra. So if our clients want to, they're welcome to book at any of these locations, fee or not.
Yeah. So if our clients, for whatever reason, have a problem with the venue or travel fees, they are welcome to choose from any of those free locations, and many of them do. Yeah. That way, whether they are like looking to have that premium experience or if they've already like broken their budget just to like hire us, they have a great location to choose from.
And by the way, as Sarah sort of alluded to a second ago, a lot of these same principles with venue fees are also going to apply to travel fees if you're doing sessions at locations that are like 20, 30 plus minutes away from your home. But we're going to talk a lot more about travel fees and the specifics there in our pricing and in our portrait and wedding photography pricing workshop that we talked about earlier that's going to be happening later this month.
But that is it for this week.
Guys, thanks for watching. We really do hope that this small piece of pricing advice has helped you run a photography business that's a little bit more profitable and a little bit more sustainable.
As a reminder, tickets are going to be on sale for just 12 more days for our workshop, pricing for portrait and wedding photographers. The link to sign up for this workshop is in the description.
Now, if you are not ready to sign up for the workshop, but you do want to be a part of a community of other photographers who are also building their early wedding and portrait photography businesses, and also get updates from us about new videos, posts, content, workshops, all that good stuff, then we would encourage you to join our Facebook community called Mastering the Wedding Photography Biz with Hunter and Sarah. The link to join that is also in the description below the link to check out more info on the workshop.
And as always, if you found this video helpful, like, subscribe. If you have questions, leave us a comment below. If you have any thoughts, hit us up.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.